Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtottar Hatasi Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ki Jai Shri Shri Gauranitai Ki Jai Samaved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Nitai Gaur Pramanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Maitreya Uvacha Vinindhyaivam sa Girisham Vinindhyaivam sa Girisham Apratipam Avastitam Apratipam Avastitam Dakshotapa Upasprishya Dakshotapa Upasprishya Kruda Shaptum Prachakrame Kruda Shaptum Prachakrame Maitreya Uvacha Vinindhyaivam sa Girisham Apratipam Avastitam Dakshotapa Upasprishya Kruddha Shaptum Prachakrame Maitreya Uvacha Vinindhyaivam sa Girisham Apratipam Avastitam Dakshotapa Upasprishya Kruddha Shaptum Prachakrame Maitreya Uvacha Vinindhyaivam sa Girisham Apratipam Avastitam Dakshotapa Upasprishya Kruda Shaptum Prachakrame Maitreya Uvacha Vinindhyaivam sa Girisham Apratipam Avastitam Dakshotapa Upasprishya Kruda Shaptum Prachakrame Maitreya Uvacha Vinindhyaivam sa Girisham apratipam avastitam. Daksho atapa upasprishya kruda shaptum prachakrame. Maitreya uvacha vinindhyaivam sa girisham apratipam avastitam. Daksho atapa upasprishya kruda shaptum prachakrame. Word-to-word translation. Please repeat. Maitreya uvacha. Maitreya said, Vinindya, abusing, evam, thus, sa, he, Daksha, Girisham, Shiva, apratipam, without any hostility, avastitam, remaining, Dakshaha, Daksha, ata, now, apaha, water, upasprishya, washing hands and mouth, krudaha, angry, saptum, to curse, prachakrame, began to. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvinda, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. The sage Maitreya continued, thus Daksha, seeing Lord Shiva sitting as if against him, washed his hands and mouth and cursed him in the following words. There's no purport. We'll read the next text. Ayam tu deva yajana indro pe indra dibir bhavaha sahabhagam na labatam dever deva ganadamaha. Translation. The demigods are eligible to share in the oblations of sacrifice, but Lord Shiva, who is the lowest of all demigods, should not have a share. Because of this curse, Shiva was deprived of his share in the oblations of Vedic sacrifices. It was due to the curse of Daksha, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti comments in this connection that Lord Shiva was saved from the calamity of taking part with other demigods who were all materialistic. Lord Shiva is the greatest devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is not fitting for him to eat or sit with materialistic persons like the demigods. Thus, the curse of Daksha was indirectly a blessing, for Shiva would not have to eat or sit with other demigods who were too materialistic. There is a practical example set for us by Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, who used to sit on the side of a latrine to chant Hare Krishna. Many materialistic persons used to come and bother him and disturb his daily routine of chanting. So to avoid their company, he used to sit by the side of a latrine where materialistic persons would not go because of the filth and the obnoxious smell. However, Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj was so great that he was accepted as the spiritual master of such a great personality as His Divine Grace Om Vishnupad Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaja. The conclusion is that Lord Shiva behaved in his own way to avoid materialistic persons who might disturb him in his prosecution of devotional service. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shiyata Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. karoti vachalam pongum langayate girim yatkripatamaham vande shigurun dinatarinam paramananda madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. I'll read the translation again. The sage Maitreya continued. Thus Daksha, seeing Lord Shiva sitting as if against him, washed his hands and mouth and cursed him in the following words. The demigods are eligible to share in the oblations of sacrifice, but Lord Shiva, who is the lowest of all demigods, should not have a share. Chapter title, Daksha curses Lord Shiva. Hare Krishna. It was good to see Kittu singing Guru Puja. I still remember him coming as a very little child. Reminds us two things: he is progressing and we are getting old. So we are continuing this section on Daksha cursing Lord Shiva. Daksha walks into his assembly and he was respected by every demigod who were assembled, except Lord Shiva, because he was too much absorbed in chanting the holy name of the Lord. In Vishnu Sahasranam, after hearing the 1,000 holy names of Vishnu, Lord Shiva says to Mother Parvati that the same benefit of chanting Vishnu's name 1,000 times can be achieved by chanting Rama's name. Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Bistulyam Rama Nama Varanane. So Lord Shiva, he meditates on Lord Ram and he chants his holy name. In fact, it is for this single reason people, especially in ancient times and even now also, you will see, especially when they become a little old, they would go to Kashi, because in Kashi or Varanasi or Benares, whoever gives up their body, Shiva himself will personally come and he will chant the holy name on their ears, chant the holy name of Lord Ram. It's called Taraka Mantra. That mantra which is capable of liberating one from the material bondage. So that's Lord Ram's name. Krishna's name is given as Paraka Mantra, that mantra which will give one prema, love for Godhead. So here, because Lord Shiva was too much absorbed in his own devotional service to the Supreme Lord, he didn't bother following the general social etiquette. And because of that, he takes the curse from Daksha, for which Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur tells the spiritual side. It's actually not a curse, but it's a blessing in disguise. Just like when Narada Muni, somehow you will see, every curse which Daksha gives works in devotee's favor. He curses Narada Muni, you cannot actually stay here in one place. After he had converted initially 10,000 sons, Haryashvas, and then another 1,000 sons, Savalashvas, as brahmacharis or paramahamsas, Daksha curses Narada Muni. You can never stay in one place for more than 3 days, initiating Narada Muni's traveling Sankirtan. So here also you see Daksha is cursing. On one hand, superficially it looks like it is a curse, material curse. Had it been any other demigod, they would have felt very disturbed. In fact, in many instances you will see demigods taking offense when they are not getting proper share of sacrifice. Indra comes to mind, as usual. This is the prelude to Govardhan Leela. When Krishna lifted, Indra was offered this worship every single day, especially during that occasion when all the Brajabasis would offer everything for his pleasure. We had Harvest Festival yesterday, Pongal it's called, Shankaranti also. I think for Sydney it's today. auspicious day. So, because Indra was bereft of that share of sacrifice, he got very offended, so much so, he calls Samartaka cloud, the cloud which is used or which is summoned only during the time of destruction, annihilation of this material world. Samvartaka is also name of another fire. There is a cloud, there is a rain by Samvartaka's name, and there is a fire also that burns. So, there we see Indra, he takes the offense personally because somebody didn't give him the share. Here Shiva, he didn't bother to stand up and observe the social etiquette when Daksha walked in, nor did he bother when Daksha curses him. In fact, you will see only his associates, they take the offense and they start to curse. And this is like, if you have to look for, they have this Guinness Book of Record, in a short time you have to do, so many names, so many mantras. This is perhaps one section in the Shastra which probably has the Guinness Book of Record of maximum curses in a very short time. In fact, in the same instance, curse, counter curse, again, counter curse. So here Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, after Daksha curses, what is he cursing? That the demigods are eligible to share in the oblations of sacrifice, but Lord Shiva, who is the lowest of all demigods, should not have a share. As I said, if the same situation was given to any other demigod, they would have reacted differently, but not Lord Shiva. Everything that happens in our life, if we are stuck with our materialistic conception, we will be disturbed like demigods. But if we are little patient, Prabhupada says we should have a cool head. In one nectar of devotion lecture, Prabhupada saying, actually it's there right in one purport also, Prabhupada uses this term, you should keep your cool head and you should not get disturbed. So for anything that happens in our material life, if we cut through just the externals and we see the hand of Krishna, then we will see that it is protection of Krishna. Krishna giving us anything is his care, is his blessing, definitely. Krishna not giving us something we want is his protection. Just like a mother would not give a knife to the child. So externally, if we see what is actually good for us, 99% of the times they are not good for us. One devotee told me, generally, any food that's cooked to be very tasty is not good for health. Usually we all love fried items. Everyone likes, and we have a special place in our heart and stomach. Even if we don't have appetite, we would want to actually go and grab. But he said anything like that, which is excessively tasty, he said it's not good. Could be sweets, could be anything, any item. So externally, if we see, whatever that happens to us same way, that external should not determine what is auspicious and inauspicious for us. And we see Prabhupada using the example of Gaura Keshadas Babaji Maharaj. He chanted the holy name of the Lord, but people would often come and disturb him asking for material blessings. To avoid them, he went to the place where people would pass stool, so people would not go because of the obnoxious smell, but he is okay with that, just sitting and chanting. It was totally beyond his bodily conception of life. So this quality of seeing the hand of Krishna, you will see in many, many instances. Even when reversals happen, how Mahabhagavats, they demonstrated this quality. Normally what we see, this story everyone knows. But then, if we don't understand it, that's why Prabhupada's purports are important. If we don't understand the devotional aspect of anything that's happening, we would sit here and we will be very worried, right? About who? Lord Shiva didn't get his sacrifice. Correct? I think I shared this before. One of the first lectures I heard of Srila Prabhupada was about Parikshit Maharaj getting cursed. And then I was hearing of Srila Prabhupada's class, and Prabhupada saying, so Parikshit Maharaj went to the forest, he was feeling hungry and thirsty, he went to the ashram of Shamika Rishi, and then he was seated in meditation, he put a dead snake around him, wrapping around his neck like a garland. And then the Shringi Brahmana, who is his son, he came and cursed him to die in 7 days. And Prabhupada paused. I was feeling very sorry for Parishit Maharaj at that point of time, during that tiny time when Prabhupada paused. But we are not fortunate like Parishit Maharaj. And then I was like, what? Then you rewind it. I had iPod Touch at that time. I was trying to scroll back. What did Prabhupada say? And then Prabhupada is saying, but we are not fortunate like Parishit Maharaj. Parishit Maharaj knew that he is going to die in 7 days. We may die in 7 minutes, 7 seconds, next second also. So we saw example of Narada Muni, how he reacted to the curse. You look at Bali Maharaj, when Vamanadev comes, takes away everything, insulting him also. First of all, he has taken away everything and he is insulting him that you didn't give me what you promised. So you deserve to be punished. And he gets Vasuki or Varuna. Varuna's rope comes and like binds him. He couldn't even move. And then during all this time, he sown men for whom he was the emperor. Not so long ago. Emperor of the all planetary system, all the 3 planetary systems. So he was insulted there. But then after this whole pastime finishes, Bali Maharaj actually says, my Lord, by you coming and accepting my offering, in fact he goes even further. Actually when Vamanadev comes into the assembly, Bali Maharaj is seated along with the other Brahmanas on the banks of Narmada. We still have the river. So he sits there and he is performing Ashwamedha sacrifice, and during that time Vamanadev comes in. But because he is currently seated with the Brahmanas, he wanted to get up and respect, but then he is waiting for his guru. He has to follow his guru. So even though in his heart he wanted to get up and offer respect intuitively, even though at that point he didn't know it was Vishnu, observing the social etiquette, he just waited to follow his guru, who was Shukracharya at that point of time. Now Bali Maharaj reveals this point later and says, my Lord, look at the benefit you have given me. You have given me your association, you have placed your lotus feet on my head, and you have promised me personal association to be the doorkeeper and the guard in Sutala planet. Not only that, that I will also become the next Indra. And Bali Maharaj says, all this is simply for me intending to do devotional service. I didn't even do devotional service. I just wanted to do. He says, who can be more merciful than you? This is Bali Maharaj's words of glorification. You will see there. And then he says, my Lord, even though it looks like you have externally taken everything away from me, actually you have done me a greater favor than what you have seemingly done for Indra. Indra, he has given him the kingdom back. What would you expect Indra to do now? To be happy. But no. You read, there are many instances when again Indra does some mistake. Some instances where he is driven away from the kingdom by the demons. Some instances, in fact, there is one instance after this when Indra himself violates the wife of a sage and he himself goes into hiding. Nobody is taking his kingdom, but he puts himself in a position where he can't enjoy the kingdom anymore. So Bali Maharaj again goes beyond externals and he says, my Lord, actually you have favored me more. Even though Indra is thinking, he is being favored. Vritrasura's pastime, later you will see, Chitraketu Maharaj, when he becomes the big demon, the description of Vritrasura is such that it's given he can eat everything in the whole universe. That's how big he was. And he was just devouring. He treats Airavat, the gigantic elephant of Indra, like an ant, it's given. That's how powerful he was. And he tells to Indra, you know, that weapon that you have, that's been awarded to you by Dadichi's bones, but it was under the potency of Vishnu. Please use it against me. And there you see, even though he is in the demoniac body, he knows very well actually he's being favored here. Supreme Lord is actually sending Indra to cut his cursed body, so to speak. When Chitraketu gets cursed, this is the body, so he wants to get rid of it, and he sees that as the greatest opportunity. He says like, yep, please bring it on. Finish it soon. I want to go back to Godhead. Here also in this instance, if you fast forward, you will see. Now, Shiva would be insulted. His associates can't take it. So they would curse. Brahmanas would counter curse. Again, cursing will go on. Shiva would just get up and walk away. He won't even say a word. He'll just walk away. Externally, as we were touching on this point in the last class, it looks like he's saying Shiva is unclean. But actually Shiva, the very word Shiva means auspicious. How can he be unclean? So Shiva also wears, we saw descriptions of how he wears a garland of skulls. But then if you read Srimad Bhagavat Mahatmya, there it's given, he wears the skull of who? Mother Parvati. Because every time she gives up her body, Shiva loves Mother Parvati so much, he would collect her skull and make it as one of the bead on the mala around his neck. He reveals this to Mother Parvati herself. And when she asks, whose skulls are these? You don't know, my dear, it's all yours. Mine? I thought I'm your eternal consort. And he says like, yes, soon to be. And then she says, what should I do to go beyond this? I don't even want to even temporarily be separated from you. Then he says, okay, now listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. And then he recites Srimad Bhagavatam to Mother Parvati. From that point onwards, no more extra bead in the skull, in the mala. So here you will see the Leela getting fast forward. Shiva goes, Mother Parvati or Sati at this point, she gets very upset. And you will see a big description. She boards on Nandi, accompanied by all the Bhutaganas. Millions of them, they come, swarming the palace of Daksha. And then she comes and she chastises her father that he doesn't know. First she glorifies Krishna, glorifies Lord Shiva. And then she says, you don't know the glory of him. And I feel, because I am born from you, this body is so contaminated to have actually come from a materialistic, demoniac, offensive person like you. And using her yogic siddhi, she just burns her body. And she gets born again as Parvati. Again, this is external. Puranas talk about one other internal reason. When Lord Ram, actually it happens even before that, Lord Shiva, once when he is in meditation, at that time he starts to chant in very ecstatic way the holy name of Lord Ram. And then his wife, Mother Parvati, she asks, who is this Lord Ram? Oh, you don't know, he is my Supreme Lord. Simply chanting his name gives one liberation. He's going to appear as a human. And I could see all the Leela beforehand. And just seeing his Leela, how he's mimicking the ways of humans, making me go into ecstasy. And then she says, can I also take his darshan? He says like, sure, whenever he comes, you can. Fast forward the time, Lord Ram appears, Mother Sita is kidnapped by Ravana, and Lord Ram and Lakshman, they search for Mother Sita in Dandakaranya. At that time, Lord Shiva, again he is in meditation, again he smiles. Mother Parvati asks, my Lord, can you please share reason for your ecstasy? Then he says, I told you about Ram, he's there. And Shiva at that time shows Lord Ram, look at him, how he's acting. Like a henpecked husband, like a normal human. And then when Sati sees Lord Ram, she says like, this is your Supreme Lord? You are a very detached person. He looks like very attached. Then Shiva says, no, that is part of his Leela. Sati says, no, I want to test him. Shiva warns her, don't try. You don't know who you are dealing with. Sati, just like a playful girl, she goes, with her mystical powers, she changes her form to Mother Sita. And she comes from behind a tree. Lord Ram keeps running, mad in separation from Mother Sita. And he just sees a glimpse of Mother Sita coming from behind a tree. And as he's running mad, he stops, looks at Mother Sita, folds his palms, offers pranam, and he says, pranam to Mother Sati. And he continues to run. That is when Sati realizes, even though I am in form of Mother Sita, he knew who I am. Changes her form back to her form as Sati, goes back to Shiva. When she goes to Shiva, guess how Shiva addresses her? Welcome, Mother Sati. And she's like, oh, my lord, that was just for fun. He says like, no, my lord addressed you as mother, you will also be related to me likewise. And now Sati realizes, oh my God, what can I do? I'm the eternal consort of Lord Shiva. She was looking for an excuse to give up that body. Introducing Daksha's curse. So she takes this as an excuse to go use that occasion to give up a body, and then she gets the body of the eternal form of Mother Parvati, and from that point onwards you will see. So everything that happens in our life, if we look at it externally, it will be very disturbing. Very, very disturbing. But if we see the hand of Krishna, we'll see opportunity. We'll see one other possibility to go deeper in our bhakti. And we see examples of Mahabhagavats. Normal times, when something good happens, it's easy to see hand of Krishna. At least, mechanically we would say, it's all mercy of Krishna. It's all mercy of my Guru, mercy of Vaishnavas, like that. But when something bad happens, first thing we do is we blame Krishna. Krishna, why? We need to pray to Krishna, especially at the time of difficulties. My Lord, we don't know what your plan is. Please give me the intelligence so I can understand what your plan is. And many times, that's probably the only lesson which Krishna wants to teach us, that you take shelter of me. And the moment you do that, suddenly problem will go away. How many of you have this experience and you think, this is it, I'm not going to survive this situation? Be it as a karmi, be it as a devotee, and you think like, this is it, I cannot do anything. I cannot, so far, whatever that happened, somehow by hook or crook, somehow I escaped. And then you think, this is it. And you come to Gopinath, and you pray, go. After like a couple of days, you even forget the problem, somehow problem goes away. How many of you have that experience? You don't even know who solved it, what intelligence we used, what happened. One thing we often forget to observe is the mystical potency of Krishna. Prabhupada says Krishna is Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Krishna is Yogeshwara. He is the master of all yogis. Krishna's mysticism is, he'll do it, everything, very effortlessly he'll do. I always give this example of Vaman Dev. Have you seen long jump people do? To jump like what, 26 meters, or how many ever meters they, or 26 yards rather, not meters. They would run like 200 yards. From long they'll run, and they'll come and they'll jump. triple jump is slightly more complicated also. Here you see Vamana Dev scaling what? The whole upper planetary system. How? Just standing in one place, just stretching like that. Just like how you raise your hand, he's stretching his feet or foot. Along the way, he just pierces also. By the way, my foot has come all the way here, might as well bring Mother Ganga. He's doing it. Many pastimes happens, but Krishna does it very, very effortlessly. So, Naitam Matistavad Urukramangrim. Urukrama means one who does very uncommon activity effortlessly, without struggling so much. So Krishna, whatever situation that we face in life, he adjusts it. Normal laws of karma won't work. So sometimes it will disturb us also, because we somehow think, how many of you feel, sometimes you may struggle in bhakti. At that time, somehow things you will feel are going properly. And then the moment you become sincere, one devotee told me this, Prabhu, whenever I struggle, somehow Krishna protects me. And then I feel very grateful and I start to become serious in bhakti, and then Krishna tests me. How many of you have that experience? I also have that experience. We think, and then when you struggle at that time, you think, thank God, at least my bhakti is going steady. If only this problem had gone before, I wouldn't have survived. So how we think and how Krishna thinks is different. We think only short term, externals only we see. Like we see here, same situation, Shiva is put through, same situation, demigods are put through. Reaction is different. So likewise, what separates us from karmis, or what is supposed to separate us from karmis, is how we react. Sthita prajnasya kabasha samadhi statya keshava sthitadi kim prabhashyata kim asita vrajeta kim. How does such a self-realized person sit? How does he walk? How does he talk? What are his symptoms? How does he sit means how does he deal with the reversals in life? How does he walk? Vraja. How does he walk means how does he respond to reversals in life? So this is a quality which Krishna speaks about in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So how do we react to reversals? Reversals 100% will come. Om Namo Bhagavate Narsinghaya Namastejas Tejase Avir Bhava Vajrnaka Vajradamsha Karmasim Rande Randeya Tamo Grasha Grasha Om Swaha Abhayam Atmani Bhujtom Shrom. Prayer from the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In that prayer, what do we pray protection from? From what are we praying to get protected? Our own mind. So we pray to Lord Narsingadev, my Lord, please protect me from my own mind, because I'm finding it very, very difficult. So how law of karma normally works and how it works for devotees, it's different. Narada Muni, after all, he preached. End result is he got cursed. Shiva, after all, he just sat down and chanted the holy name of Lord Ram. He gets cursed. And we do inattentive chanting. If something bad happens, we get upset with Krishna. They get cursed for being good devotees, pure devotees of the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj was abused, put through so much adversities, simply because he wanted to practice pure bhakti. He didn't complain, not even once. And that's what puts him in a different league completely. Normally when some difficulty comes, we would pray, right? When Haridas Thakur was dragged to 22 marketplaces and whipped, what put Haridas Thakur apart is, not even once did he pray to the Supreme Lord, my Lord, please protect me. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reveals this. in Mahaprakash Leela. He calls each personalities and he tells about their history. Many times we have this question, right? I know I did a lot of sinful activities in my past before coming to Krishna consciousness. What activity did I do to make me qualified to be in the association of devotees now? How many of you had that question sometimes? Could be this, could be that. And we all have that curiosity, like we like to know, my Lord, what is it that really pleased you? Pingala Gita you will come across. Nunam me Bhagavan Prito, Vishnu Kenapi Karmana. She says, even though I am engaged in an abominable profession, Nunam me Bhagavan Prito, somehow or other, I have pleased the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Otherwise, how is this virakti coming in my heart? And she says, normally when she is a prostitute by profession, her life, her transformation is so great, it's glorified by Supreme Lord Krishna himself, part of Uddhava Gita. She says that so many times it has happened in the past, I wait for my customers, nobody show up, I just go on with my life. But today, I'm waiting, nobody is coming, I'm feeling so dejected, and my heart is actually turning towards Vishnu, so much so that my mind is saying, if only I had put a tiny bit of this focus and attention on the Supreme Lord Krishna, I would have gotten liberated by now. So part of her singing is, her realization is, normally this is what I go through, I just move on with my life. But today alone, how is this deep detachment coming in my heart? That means in the past, I have done something, Nunam me Bhagavan Prito. I did something that has pleased the Supreme Lord. Likewise, we all have that question. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being Supreme Lord, he is aware of that desire and he fulfills that desire. So during Mahaprakash Leela in Srivasangan, he calls every devotee and he says what that devotee's past life, what bhakti they did, what pleased him and what qualified them to get the personal association of the Supreme Lord. He calls Haridas Thakur. And he tells to Haridas Thakur, Haridas, do you remember you were dragged to 22 marketplaces and you were whipped? Haridas Thakur says, yes, my Lord. During that time, my Sudarshana Chakra came to kill all those miscreants. But the only prayer you offered is, my Lord, these people, they are just carrying out the orders of their master. They are innocent. Please don't punish them. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reveals, now my dilemma is, I already released the Sudarshana Chakra. Sudarshana Chakra came to kill them. And here you are offering the prayer. My Sudarshana Chakra got confused. Because Sudarshan is thinking, master is releasing to kill. Here a devotee is praying other way. What should I do? Then he takes a U-turn, goes back. So Sudarshan Chakra comes. It is in dilemma, it doesn't know what to do. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reveals all this. You can read that section, very beautiful section, very heart-rending section. That's the pastime when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reveals about Kolavecha Sridhar also. Very beautiful pastime you will see. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Chakra was there, ready to kill the miscreants, but you are praying like this. Sudarshana got confused, and finally Sudarshana made up his mind what he should do. He returned back to Vaikuntha all the way. And then Vishnu asks, what happened? Why didn't you protect? Sudarshana says, look, between you and your devotee are more powerful. I am more answerable to your devotees. You sent me to kill them, but your devotee is praying like this. So I followed the order of your devotee and I came back. Sorry, I can't help. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says this and he says, on one hand I wanted to protect you, for which I have already sent the Sudarshana Chakra, but you are praying not to disturb these miscreants. So to keep both my desire and your desire intact, I had to come and I had to hug you. And because of that, I had to take the whip. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reveals, shows his back, whip marks are still there. When Haridas Thakur sees that, he faints. Externally, what happens to us? It's very hard for us to understand. I'll finish with one Leela of Gopinath. I was once doing evening 4 o'clock Arati. This is like 5-6 years ago. Temple room was empty. There was one person. I have seen him few times. This is like 2016, 2017. I did the Arati. During the Arati, when you turn to offer it to the Mahaprasad to devotees, I was seeing this person was standing here and he was crying. Then I finished first incense. Then I offer flower. When you turn, you will naturally see the devotees. Again I saw him crying. Then picked up chamar, started. And when I'm turning back, now he's sobbing. It's getting worse. And then I put it. Then I took peacock feather. Waving, he completely broke down. He sat down. Then I finished, blow the conch. Then before going in, I asked the person there, is everything all right? Looks like you are very disturbed. And he says, yes, I actually I like temple. I came here on work visa. I prayed to Radha Gopinath that somehow if you bring me close to temple, I can be here and I can actually serve you. Everything went well, but somehow the project which was supposed to go, it got canned. So I tried other ways, I couldn't get it. So I sent my family and I have to leave tomorrow. So I don't want to go. Then one other devotee came in. At the time, he picked up a kartal and he started to sing Namaste Narsinghaya. I said, like, maybe you can sit and chant. Gopinath hears prayers, I'll also pray, you also pray. Then he prayed, I also prayed. He was sitting, chanting Namaste Narsinghaya. I went in, came back. This time I kneeled down and I was like wiping the floor. And that devotee, now he's a devotee, initiated devotee. I'm not going to use the name. He came in and now he started to wail. I thought, like, what happened now? And then he was paying obeisance, rolling on the ground. Literally he was rolling this way. I mean, not like this far. I like, what happened? No, Prabhu, I was sitting here and like chanting Namaste Narsinghaya. I received a call. One job which I applied, I forgot about it. I got the job and they sponsored my visa also. He's a citizen here. Sometimes you get goosebumps. You know? I'm like, Gopinath, that was fast. So, whoever comes offers them to Radha Gopinath. Radha Gopinath, they are very possessive. You want to be here? Okay, be here. But service, whenever we do, we need to be very, very careful. Radha Gopinath don't want to be burden of everyone, anyone. So if we do service grudgingly, Supreme Lord will feel very uncomfortable receiving the service. So they will create a situation in such a way that the very same service you are not so happy about, quote unquote, you will lose it. Worse even, you will lose the association of devotees also. That's why I always tell devotees, if you have inspiration, do service. Otherwise, go and pick service which you like to do. Never ever do service grudgingly. Radha Gopinath are persons. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani, they are persons. Gaur Nitai, they are persons. Personalities. Just like how we have our like, dislike, we have a heart, we have feelings, they have so much more for the devotees. I told you one extreme case, I can tell you a few more like that. But whoever wants to be with Gopinath, they will always remain with Gopinath. Whoever does things grudgingly or any other ulterior motive, they will get. It's not like, I asked this question once to Varanayaka Prabhu. I used to live in Paramat at the time. Every week I'll come and tell to Gopinath, I give report. Now also I do, once every week, what I did. Every day we give, but then once in a week also we do. So every week I tell him, okay, this is what I'm going to do for you and everything. I go, 10 things I'll tell, I'll do 2 things, 8 things would still be pending. Then I'll come ask for apologies, again. Reset the goals. So one day I asked Varanayaka Prabhu, sometimes we all tell to Krishna we want to do this and we are trying, if we are not in a position to do, is there any instance where Krishna gets upset? He says no. And he said, Prabhupada once, he was quoting Prabhupada, he said, Prabhupada once said, if you want to make Krishna laugh, come in front of him and tell him about your plans. So, Krishna knows that we are trying, how much we want to do, we should try from our side. But if we can't do it, it's fine. Try again, one more time. Many times we overcome it. We want to do so much, and we don't know where to start. We end up starting nothing and doing nothing. It's much better to take up something in small chunk and then work away slowly. So karma for devotees and karma for karmis, they are 2 different things. Karma for devotees is sometimes created by Krishna, or sometimes it's minimized by Krishna, just as a token punishment, for example. I remember seeing one meme, one devotee forwarded me, and it says, just because you didn't realize your mistake fully, I'm here to make you pay. And below it said, this is quote unquote, said by karma. He's holding. Just because you didn't realize the mistake you did fully, I'm here to make you pay. That means any activity that we do, we have unfortunately this trait, even as devotees. When we do things, we don't think and we do. And after we finish doing, we somehow want to believe, even if I had screwed up the way how I had executed, we still have the audacity to expect a completely perfect outcome, just because we are devotees. How many of you understand this point? If you want to make devotees awake in the class, then we have to find out ways how to make the class more engaging. We can't do a boring presentation and expect devotees to feel ecstatic about it. Does that make sense? That's an example. Like this. In real life also, we expect the law of karma to be bent, the rules of this material world to be bent for our favor, just because we are devotees. It doesn't work that way, which means it's raining outside. If you just go without holding an umbrella, you get wet, you may catch cold and you will fall sick, Don't expect Krishna to make you immune from getting cold. That's not Krishna's problem, that's your problem. Krishna's mercy here is, he has given us intelligence. He has given us association. He has given us shastras that gives us the sense of discrimination. So, how Krishna's mercy comes, it's not for us to dictate. It's for us to appreciate whatever Krishna gives. So, Krishna's mercy may come in terms of punishment also sometimes. Sometimes in terms of Mahaprasad. When Mahaprasad comes, we are glorifying Krishna. Krishna, thank you very much. When punishment comes, we are finding fault with Krishna. Krishna, what's your problem? No, anything that happens in our life, they are all sent by Krishna. But we also need to understand a big reason for what is happening in our life. In fact, if we really want to take responsibility, 100% of the things that happen in our life, we are responsible. Prabhupada says, man is the maker of his own destiny or her own destiny. Now we tend to think that holds only for karmis. But as devotees, it doesn't apply. As devotees, it doesn't apply if we are pure devotees. Are we? To the extent we are not pure devotees, to that extent, material laws apply for us. I'll finish with this point. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he sits and reads Srimad Bhagavatam, if the sun comes right above his head, a cloud will come and it would hide the sun. When Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur sits out in the field, it's given, opens Srimad Bhagavatam and he reads, even if it rains and floods, not even a water droplet would touch him. In fact, when king notices him, that's when he understands his greatness. Whole area is flooding, but water was coming, gushing, meandering around him. Not even a single drop of water was touching him. Now we are not in that level. But our problem is, we want to hold on to our level and we want to expect the concession which Krishna has given to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. That's the problem. It holds true for Vaishnava Prad. It holds true for everything that we do. Which means if we want to become pure devotees, we need to put our own effort. We are now in the process of rebuilding this temple. If we want to do this, then we need to put the hard work to raise the funds. We can't sit here and expect Krishna. Krishna doesn't need a new home. But devotees want to offer the new home to Sri Radha Gopinath. If we want to distribute books, we need to put the effort. If you want to learn to play mridanga, you need to put the effort. We can't expect, okay, I've prayed to Balaram, Balaram will give us energy. Like the raw material will be given. Actual effort we need to put. That's how it holds in everything. So we can't expect the laws of material nature to be bent. For Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur or Mahabhagavats like him, it happens because that's not their consideration. You see, Raghunath Das Goswami's pastime, when he is sitting, chanting, Srimati Radharani comes and holds the veil, so sun doesn't hit him. When he sits in Vrindavan doing his japa, when a tiger comes, Krishna himself comes to protect him. But Raghunath Das Goswami doesn't expect Radha and Krishna to come and protect him. You understand? He is busy with selfless service. But our problem is, we are doing selfish service, but we expect the miracles that we actually see that happened in the Mahabhagavat's life. That's a very irresponsible lifestyle. We have to be just mindful there. Okay, even if we are not in a position to appreciate it, at least we should understand, when we do the work, 100% the outcome is dependent on my effort only. Because what we don't know is how much Krishna is going to give mercy, whether he is going to give mercy, at what point he is going to give mercy, we don't know. But what we can do is what is within our capacity. Fully understanding, yes, this is totally within my control. I can do this, beyond that I can leave it to Krishna. So that's how we maintain the balance between depending on Krishna and doing whatever that we need to do. Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaved Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.